Can we get the wind to stop, please? I forgot my windscreen. Hey everybody, Nick Marzock with Full Compass. I am in a field, which is not a typical place for me to be recording one of these videos. But if you are in filmmaking or content creation, broadcast journalism, documentaries, mobile recording, what is a typical place to be recording, right? Well, if you find yourself recording out in a field, you're gonna need a great field recorder. There it is, you knew the stupid joke was coming. All this set up for that terrible punchline. Let me introduce you to the Tascam FR-AV2. Pound for pound, this thing is in the top of its class for functionality. You might need a bunch of different devices in an awkward, bulky rig to replace what this one little lightweight unit can do on its own. We're talking Bluetooth monitoring and mobile controlling, timecode generation or jam sync, accept, mid-side recording, super durable, great big display, easy to use, and all at a resolution up to 192 kilohertz with 32-bit float bit depth. For all you post people out there, it just doesn't get better than that quality. So let's get off the field, take it inside. This is Full Review. Everything rolling around. All right, that's better. My 40 time has not improved since high school. I'm gonna get right into it because I don't want this video to be 2 hours long, and you don't want that either. The FR-AV2. This thing is overpowered. First off, for all the features and the specs that we are gonna get into, this is a great size. Under 4 inches at 99 millimeters wide by 80.4 millimeters by just about an inch and a half. I know, I'm jumping between metric and imperial. Bringing the world together. This has a really durable and lightweight fiberglass shell. It can take some abuse, take some weather, and most importantly, your audio will not be affected. And speaking of that, there's a great RF shield that's built into this to keep out interference. With batteries inside, it's just about a half a pound, so really lightweight, 267 grams, right? Bringing the world. Let's take a lap around the enclosure, starting with the inputs. How about this camera? Hold on, if I go this way, nope, I gotta. How do you do this? The FR-AV2 has 2 assignable inputs that include these 2 XLR line combo input jacks. These XLR jacks lock too with the release buttons here. We're gonna get into routing, assigning, timecode, all of that stuff, but just a quick note about these Ultra HD DA pre's when you're using the XLR. They are incredibly quiet with an EIN of minus 127 decibels. So you can crank it in post and not hear any noise whatsoever. They have a really great dynamic range of 132 decibels and a frequency response of 20 hertz to 60 kilohertz at 192 kilohertz resolution. That is some detail, that is some fidelity, quality. Tascam. 32-bit float, 32-bit float. Why is that significant? Why does it matter? You can watch numerous videos online of how that works and the significance and the benefits, but I gotta keep this video kind of short. So, in essence, rather than there just being one analog to digital converter covering the entire dynamic range while you're recording, the FR-AV2 splits that into 2, a high gain ADC and a low gain ADC. And they are working together in tandem to create an audio file. This creates a massive dynamic range, so it saves your recordings. You don't have to worry about the gain as much. Let's say you have your gain set for a conversational level. Suddenly there's a really loud noise and it creates a digital clip. Usually that would saw off the waveform. Well, since there's also a low gain audio to digital converter, it has the shape of that waveform because it's capturing a lower gain. The low gain one's like, I got this. I remember what the top of that waveform looks like. Same thing with audio, that the gain was set too low and you can barely hear it. Typically, when you pull that up, you're gonna get a lot of distortion, but not with 32-bit float. It preserves the data, has these dual audio to digital converters working in unison to give you a huge dynamic range. This gives you much more clarity, much more control in post, and it's great on the fly, or if you're going into environments where it's gonna be really loud and then really quiet and really loud, big dynamic range, 32-bit float. There's also a 3.5 millimeter input jack for externals like a camera or an external device, lav microphones that need plug-in power at either 2.5 or 5 volts, Timecode in. This is great for timecode customization. We're going to talk about that just a little bit later. Right beside that are the two 3.5mm stereo outputs, one for headphones with the headphone volume controls right next to it, and the output for camera, line, or timecode out. Okay, continuing to spin it around, we have the power switch, so you just pull on that, hold it, and then it will say power on and turn on. There it is. Next to the power switch is a USB-C port that you can plug directly into a computer if you want to either run it as an interface or exchange data. This device runs off of computer bus power. It also can run off of AC power through this same port. And next to that is the card slot for a micro SD, micro SD HC, and micro SD XC cards. Up to 512 gigabytes. You can record quite a long time with that. Spinning around, this side is pretty empty with the exception of this slot for the AKBT2 Bluetooth adapter. This is sold separately, but you're definitely gonna want it. Plug that back in. It's a recorder. Why do I need Bluetooth? Because the FR-AV2 can pair with your smartphone, check for compatibility, using the Tascam Recorder Connect app. Search for the device. There it is right there. Connect. Boom. And now it's paired. This gives you all the controls that are built into this device, but now in your hands. So if you have the recorder on a tripod or camera mounted, you can be controlling all of the audio and timecode remotely without having to go over and fumble with buttons on the camera person. They're like, what are you doing? You know? Not only that, but Tascam heard your feedback, not only for their products, but all audio recorders. Why can't we connect Bluetooth headphones? Why can't we connect Bluetooth headphones? Well, guess what? You can connect Bluetooth headphones. This Bluetooth adapter enables you to monitor wirelessly. So imagine if you're the A1 on a documentary production, for instance, you could have your Tascam FR-AV2 rigged onto the camera with an additional mic or line input integrated into a timecode device. And you could not only be controlling the audio and the timecode and the settings wirelessly, but you could also be monitoring wirelessly as well, all through Bluetooth. Why aren't you at fullcompass.com yet getting one of these? Come on. The bottom of the device has the threads to mount to a camera or a tripod. It has these great slots where you can attach straps or clamps to rig to all kinds of different things. And then there's also the slot to access the batteries. So this can run off of AC power or computer bus power, but it wouldn't be a true field recorder unless it also ran off batteries. It takes 3 AAA batteries, and you can even select in the settings which type of batteries you are using to optimize the performance, whether it's lithium ion like I have in here right now, nickel metal hydride, or alkaline. The battery performance is great too. If you have 2 microphones plugged into jacks 1 and 2, both using phantom power, recording stereo waves at 48 kilohertz, 32-bit float, it will roll continuously for about 10 hours before it runs out of battery. But even if it does run out of battery or it powers off for some reason, say you're using AC power and somebody turns off the outlet and it turns off, your data, your audio is protected because it auto saves every 20 seconds. You will never lose a take if it shuts off. Additionally, there's a power saving mode that you can turn on if you don't need a resolution over 48 kilohertz and you don't need phantom power that will squeeze out some extra battery life. They just thought of everything. That's in the settings menu, so let's just go to the settings so that we can touch some buttons and play with things. On this top panel underneath the color display, by the way, really bright, you can change the contrast, it's beautiful. There are the function buttons labeled F1 through F4. These functions change depending on what menu or submenu is pulled up. So right now with nothing pulled up and not recording, there's menu, to bring up the menu, browse to see my previous recordings, and then input and output menus to change those settings. Below the function buttons are the playback controls and the record button. It's punctuating this right over here on the right. Wonder what that does. Play/pause for playback controls. There's stop/home. So that can stop the recording, stop playback, or no matter what menu or submenu you're in, you can always click on that one to go back to the home screen. And then fast forward and rewind for playback. These buttons will also be useful when navigating the menus. It'll show you on the screen. Let's do a quick sweep through the menu and the input and output settings just to show you some of the capabilities of this device. It's so small you don't realize how much it can do. So I'll go into the menu by pressing F1. Straight away I can see recording settings. It says enter, so F4 is enter. I can change the sample rate, the bit depth, toggle on and off record pause mode, which enables you to pause in the middle of recording and then hit record again, as opposed to creating all new files. Toggle pre-record, which gives you the ability to record up to 5 seconds before you actually hit the record button. We don't want to miss anything. And record hold, which stops you from accidentally hitting the stop button in the middle of a recording and requires you to hold that button down. When you buy this device new, that function is already turned on, so you can toggle it off if you'd like. Go back and now into the I/O settings. Control the phantom voltage that you want to provide, as well as control mid-side recording that this device can also do. That's some advanced recording techniques. All right, back. Next is Bluetooth. So here's where we can set up audio monitoring through a Bluetooth headset. Selecting the quality between Prime, Standard, and Stable. Prime is going to prioritize the quality and the processing. Stable is going to prioritize the quick connection, and then Standard is right in the middle of those two. Pairing for wireless headphones and your phone as well, any controls. Now we arrive at Timecode, and I know this is a long video, but I want to take a second to really talk about the timecode, because this is where the FR-AV2 really shines, especially if you're a filmmaker or content creator. The FR-AV2 has an internal timecode generator that you can send out to a camera. So you can be recording high fidelity, studio quality audio while also I'm getting choked up about it. While sending timecode to cameras or external devices. Selecting free run, you can then customize the start time, the frame rate and frame type, and restart the timecode. Just so much control over your production from this unit. You can also set the timecode to be the real-time clock that you set internally, or set it to receive timecode master from an external device through this 3.5mm input jack. It will automatically jam sync to the input timecode. And then finally, one thing I didn't mention earlier, but another benefit of a Bluetooth adapter, is that this unit can integrate with an Atomos UltraSync Blue system. Wireless timecode via the Bluetooth adapter. Keep it on free run, because I'm such a great runner. And then finally with timecode, if you go down to the bottom of this part of the menu, you can set the level. So if you have TC out level off, that's just going to send the audio out of external out. But if you select LTC, that will send out timecode to another timecode device. And if you select mic, that will send timecode info out to a camera. Okay, really quickly, back to the main screen. I know this is long. Let's go to input and see all of our input controls for both channel 1 and channel 2. So first thing is your recording level, but you know, with that 32-bit float, just get it close and fix it in post. Every re-recording engineer right now is like, no! Gang channel 1 and channel 2 recording levels together, toggle on and off record enable. Then here you can select the input. So I can choose for channel 1 the external. So if I plug into the 3.5mm external input with a lav mic, it's going to need some power, so make sure plug-in power is set to 2 hey 1 2, and now I'm getting a nice signal. And then just for demo purposes, use the fast forward button to toggle over to channel 2. Now I can plug a microphone into there. If this was a condenser microphone, this is where I'd turn on and off phantom power. I could stereo link the channels if it's a stereo source. Let's actually record this, don't just take my word for it. So back to the home screen. Record. So this is the lav on channel 1 plugged into the external, and this is the microphone on channel 2 plugged into the XLR. Each channel has a delay that you can add by the millisecond, up to 300 milliseconds. So if you have distance between the microphones or one of the channels is just delayed, increase the delay between the two, and now it's going to start to sound pretty funky. Okay, that's enough of that. Phase invert switch. So much processing here too. There's a switchable low cut at 120. Now that gets rid of rumbles. Dynamics controls like a limiter and a compressor. Let's throw a compressor on there. Preset EQ settings. So let's switch to interview just to play around. This is the interview preset. You can also edit the EQ manually with this EQ screen with the 4 bands of knobs. It's great. There's a noise gate if you want to focus on the dialogue. You have a lot of background noise. And by the way, all of these settings, the processing, the menus and submenus, everything I'm doing can also be controlled wirelessly on the app. I can click on the input channel, change the recording level, low cut filter, edit the EQ, everything that I was doing in the box, I can also do on the app. Stop the recording if I wanted to, but I'm still using it for now. On the screen of the app, it also shows you your sample rate, the bit depth, all of the processing that's happening on each channel, where your input source is, timecode information, battery life of the device, and how much room is left on the card. It's really a carbon copy of the FR-AV2. It's great. Finally, back at the home screen, let's go to output settings so I can control my output levels. Those are ganged together, but you can split them. Change it from a stereo output to mono output. And if I wasn't rolling right now, I could solo one of the channels, channel 1 or 2, if I wanted to monitor something in particular. While it's rolling, the function buttons also give you the ability to add a marker on F1 and slate on F2. So I can add a marker here, marker set number 1. You can also add auto markers in the settings based on time or if the channel peaks. Press F2 for slate. Wake up, everybody. Or set an auto sleep. The recording is so easy on this device. All you have to do is just hit record. You'll see that indicator light turn on. And then there's 2 peak indicator lights. So if you're in 24-bit resolution, definitely pay attention to those and ride your gain accordingly. And now I can press play and listen to the last thing that I just recorded. I can switch between files here. If I want to see all my recordings, just click on Browse and that will show me all of the files that I have recorded. There's a lot. Believe it or not, there's so much we didn't cover. These are just the basics of the Tascam FR-AV2. Selecting the folder to record in, renaming the device, connecting this to a computer to use it as a USB interface at 192 kilohertz 32-bit float, connecting this to a phone. So if you're really mobile, you can have a little phone rig with a shotgun mic plugged into this great XLR combo jack, running USB out into your phone, and it barely takes up any room on that rig. Self-tape auditions. Hello. Like I said, this thing is so overpowered, and it takes the roles of a bunch of gear for both professional audio recording and timecode and puts it into one little lightweight, durable, easy to use device. In case you couldn't tell by now, I love the Tascam FR-AV2. And whether you are a filmmaker or content creator, actor, musician, documentarian, journalist, professor, teacher, you will love this too. Go to fullcompass.com right now or give your sales rep a call at 800-356-5844. We are here for you and we want to help you get one of these to integrate into your setup, whether you're just starting or if you have a whole system that this will integrate well into. For Full Compass, I am Nick Marzock. Go to fullcompass.com because you're going to need a microphone to plug into this and the cable to plug that mic in and a camera and a timecode system and. We got it. Keep it right here at Full Compass for more gear reviews like this, interviews, and so much more great content for you, the pro. Subscribe to us, interact with us, tell us how you are using and how much you love your Tascam FR-AV2. Full Compass, Tascam. I think I pulled a muscle.